Welcome to Business Talk with your host, Eric Chow, a show dedicated to startups and small businesses. This podcast will explore topics, events, ideas, and resources that are relevant and interesting to Main Street entrepreneurs. This show is sponsored by World Consulting Inc., the advisor on your side, helping your business go further, faster. In episode 1, we are chatting with Mr. Khoa Lee, a serial entrepreneur with over 100 employees across several enterprises. He is the founder and CEO of K-Vibe Studios, Live Picture Studios, and the recently launched NFT platform, Satudu. Khoa is also an accomplished film director for several feature independent films such as Walt Before Mickey, Jose Feliciano Behind This Guitar, and recently the film about Amazon's founder, Bezos, The Beginning. Today, he will share his struggles and lessons from a first-generation entrepreneur's perspective. He will discuss what branding means to him and companies, what are some effective marketing hacks for business owners today, and specifically how NFTs are going to help your business generate more revenue, gather more customers, and deliver a greater experience. Let's get started.
Hey, Khoa, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm excited to have you on. I think the audience is going to get a tons of value today.
But I don't know about that. I hope so.
A lot of pressure there, right? But anyways, wanted to give the audience a little context, right, about how we met before we go deep dive into the conversation.
Okay.
I believe you and I we met about a year ago, right?
Yes, we did.
So at that time, well, you were and you still are the president of a nonprofit organization, the U.S. Pan-Asian American Chamber of Commerce Northeast chapter.
That's correct.
And about a year ago, you guys recently established a partnership with the SBA, right?
Yeah.
Basically providing some valuable services to the underserved business community through the CNPP program, the Community Navigator Pilot Program.
Yep.
And I remember approaching you a year ago, and at the end of the Zoom call, I think you asked me two questions. Number one, what is it that you want to do, Eric? And number two, how can we work together?
Okay, yes. Okay, I remember that.
From that point on, one thing that I really noticed, I would say is a really unique quality that you have, is your inclusivity with the intent to help. In fact, the first time I visited your studio in Jersey City, it's a beautiful facility, 8,000 square foot. You acquired that building a few years back.
2019, yep.
2019, right? And as I walked past the receptionist desk, you were showing me the kind of the meeting space.
I'm selling
venue.
you studio time, man. I hope you buy something from me.
Well, it worked.
I'm kidding.
Well, in fact, you share with me that as you were designing the building, you had a vision that you would have a space so that the communities can actually come together
100%.
For various reasons, events, celebrations. In fact, in the past year, I've attended several events at the studio. Different business mixers, panel discussions, and shows. And I'll tell you that tells me how much you want to actually provide value to the community. And you don't really typically see that in business too much.
I'm a serial entrepreneur, and my whole makeup in life was always about how do I provide value to the public, to the people, as a servant to the world before I'm dead. That's how I kind of look at it. I look at it as like, okay, I'm here for a reason, and I was given a certain level of capabilities that many do not have. And I know that. I have a level of certain talents that for some reason I'm able to do that others can't. And I always felt like, look, if you don't use it and you know how to do it, then you better do it. Otherwise, it will be not just taking it away from you, but it'll be bad karma for you. Okay, I know how to do it. I know how to put a community together. I know how to do this. I could buy a building. I could do that. I could do this for the people. If I said no, it's like seeing someone that you could help and you're just watching them suffer. I feel like you're obligated to do it. And that's my belief in it. That's part of my core values. And, I don't want to start a business. I don't want to run a bit. I don't want to run spreadsheets and manage people. And, I like to lead people. I don't like to manage processes and things and yada, yada. But I just felt like I had to do it because I know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it ultimately leads into helping people, and then that's what you have to do. That's how I look at it. On top of having kids, running 3 different businesses, I run a, volunteer my time, not get paid for this, to be a chamber president,
Mm-hmm.
so I could connect with people to help more people,
Right.
to buy a building and move in 2 months before a pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and then offer free services in my building, not charging ticketing or anything like that, so people could get value out of it. I hope that writing is on the wall, that we're trying to add value in people's lives.
Which brings me to recognize the second quality that you have is your really decisiveness. The way you make this, your ability to be able to make decision quickly, both professionally and personally. And I could talk about personally too. Like I've tried to have you hang out with me, with the family a couple of times, but you know what? Every time you would give me a quick answer, all right, a quick no, and actually I appreciate that. I'd rather someone tell me no, and tell me why, right, than say, oh, I'll think I like it, but I'll think about it, right? But I appreciate that about you, and I think that's what your ability to really think quickly, make decision quickly, is what allows you to capitalize on some of the opportunities and the trends that are coming up, which we'll talk more about later on in this show.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I learned very quickly was, I think this is why sports is very important, because I played sports since I was a kid.
You play baseball.
Baseball,
right?
And everything's reaction times. It's a game of inches. You're gonna swing the bat or not, and you got the split second to think about these things.
And you only have to be 30% success rate to be great.
To be great, to be mediocre, you're 20%. Okay, to be mediocre, and so everything is always split decisions, and I think that was trained since I was a little kid.
I got you. That's amazing. That's a good lesson to have for those have children.
And you will notice a lot of sports players, they make quick decisions in life. They do.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into it.
All right.
So, I'm interested. You talked a little bit earlier about your journey, right? How you become who you are. But if you don't mind, share your journey kind of from a perspective of a first generation entrepreneur. Did you were you raised by parents that have businesses?
First of all, my family was very rich back in Vietnam.
Okay.
Like owned farms, owned real estate, owned a lot. It's like crazy rich Asians type of rich. Communism took place, and everyone went to zero.
Sure.
So everyone was a whole reset. So I grew up poor. My family are refugee immigrants from Vietnam that grew up very poor in America. I grew up in the slums of Jersey City, New Jersey. I was a foster. I was with foster parents because my mom had some post-trauma that affected the ability to take care of us, my brother and I. And so we stayed with an American family for about 1.5 years. We always stayed connected. So I always felt like I had 2 fathers and 2 mothers.
Okay.
And I learned music with my American family. I don't know what struggle was when I was a kid. It was part of life.
Okay.
Very unprivileged.
Interesting.
You get 1 Christmas toy a year, if you're lucky. That was the days with me, But I grew up in the slums. My high school that I went to there's a fight every day. There's a stabbing once a week, and there's a gunfight once a month. And that was normal. And someone was getting shot once a month.
So what you're saying, struggle is the norm.
For me, it was normal. I didn't know anything else. I thought Jersey City was life. I didn't know there was California and other states, and because we always stayed within that little box. That was the bubble. I thought that was life. There was no internet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We didn't grow up with internet.
And it's TV. And that's all you have, right?
Yeah.
So my upbringing was all about go to school and get your 9-to-5 job and call it a day and work
So
the rest of your life.
What switched that thinking from, getting a job mentality, 9 to 5, to doing something that is more meaningful?
I hurt my arm in 19 when I was playing baseball, and I got into music. I hated school. I used to sleep in school all the time and never took notes or anything like that. And I would pass with a C and a D. That was normal for me. And I did it on purpose because I just didn't see much value in it. Now, when I was 19, I was introduced to this record producer. I call him Rich Abram. So he introduced me to this world of production, music production. And I asked him, how you do what you do? I was like, oh, I'm a producer. I was, oh, how do you become a producer? And he said this to me. I will never forget. He goes, you just become a producer, Khoa. I said, what do you mean? He goes, if you want to be a producer, then become a producer. You want to be a producer? Yes. Then you're a producer now. So start producing. And then it clicked. Like, it just unlocked the key in my head. Then I just say, I want to be writing. I start writing. Now I'm a writer. Is that how it works? And then entrepreneurship kicks in. And so now I felt like I could bend life. I could bend the world a little bit. I said, okay, I want to own my business. Okay, own the business. You're an entrepreneur. I want to run this. Sure. I want to run this service. Nobody could tell me what to do. Which is the reason why when I learned that, I went to school without a notebook. Because whatever.
You can tell I'm a little bit different, right? I got my notebook.
Yeah. And so I would go to school, whatever school they would teach me, and I would go to sleep. I didn't care. And then,
you're the teacher's worst nightmare, right?
I am.
But that's okay. That's a saying, right? Yeah. The A students end up working for the C students in life. Right. In fact, the lower you are, the better. Right?
It's pretty true. But look, I don't want to get into the education system where they value grades more than learning.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But I would say that those actions I did in school show what kind of education system I was in, and nor did I care about, because I didn't think that life, that success was defined based on my grades. That's why I did what I did. And when I got out of college, I went to corporate America, which was working for Ernst & Young, EY. And I got a $4,000 to $8,000 salary job to fix computers because I was good at fixing computers. And that told me everything about life, because nobody told me that, my grade, nobody asked for my grade, nobody asked for my degree. I graduated in music, for God's sake. And I got a salary job working for a Fortune 500 company while doing entrepreneurship work.
So you were working full time at an accounting firm.
Use that money to build my businesses up.
Interesting. I think this is especially valuable because I would say for the audience that we have, right? A lot of them, they kind of started their business as a side hustle, right? And transitioning from a 9-to-5 job to a full-blown enterprise, I think that takes first it takes patience, right? Right. But maybe can you speak a little more into that, and then we'll move on to the next segment.
Yeah, it's not just patience. It's, look, I was a very smart chess player when I was a kid. Literally, I played chess.
Okay.
And I would be able to think 15 to 20 moves ahead of my life. I knew that I had to have infrastructure to build what I wanted to build. The thing is that I knew that when I was a kid. Since I was a kid, like, that's why I did the piano thing. That's why I thought, the baseball thing. I love the games, but I built a lot of skill sets when I was a little kid. I got into computers because I knew that it was a skill set that I needed. I knew that I needed to learn how to write good emails when email was a new thing back in the days. These are things that would just kind of make sense to me. And I was investing into myself. So, I think part of entrepreneurship is that you have to understand that in order to create anything that's sustainable for the long term, you need to have a certain skill set to sustain that. I think a lot of mistakes, and might be not a lot of mistakes, but I would say a lot of younger people are getting into the entrepreneurship game without any understanding of how people work. They interacted, but they never worked a corporate job in their life, and they jump into entrepreneurship, and that's fine. But then they might complain about certain things, or they don't have any patience to empathize of what an employee goes through in life. So if they become an entrepreneur, they might not have the understanding how to take care and lead people because they never worked with or they never went through a bad manager. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of things in place that they haven't gone through life yet. And so my advice usually would be, look, before you jump into the entrepreneurship game, first of all, ask yourself why you're getting into it. And is it because of just the money, or is it because you want to solve problems, or whatever the reason is? And then, when you're doing it, try to figure out, as you go, you could try to figure out what is it going to take to build this thing. What's the vision of it? If you're going in there because I'm going to sell lemonades for whatever reason, or you're trying to sell technology for whatever reason, but you have no idea how to move this and keep the things in the air and think about, you don't have to know everything, but you got to at least have some sort of idea that you're going to go through it. That's what I'm saying. There's no rules for it, because I think I broke a lot of traditional rules when I came to the entrepreneurship game, because I've been told, it's like, Khoa, you don't have no structure around entrepreneurship. Why would you do it? I said, yeah, but I have an idea about it. I know that I wouldn't treat the employees the way my old corporate client would treat me. That's number one, I wouldn't do. I know that I wouldn't want to build a company where I'm always the guy to run everything. I know I wouldn't want to do that. So I got to build something to scale, as if basically anybody could run the company if you insert them in there. That's the type of company, like almost a CEO-less company. I know I want to build something like that. I do know that I want to teach people so they could continue to grow and build themselves, so they could eventually either build their own companies or continue to move this company to a whole new stratosphere, and know that there's a challenge that they're excited to be a part of. I know I want that. And I know that it needs to ultimately solve problems for people, which is helping people, building value, and all these things has to integrate. Those are the things I know I needed to have. Now let's put them into place. Each one task might have 1,000 tasks underneath it. And that's my chess game.
Gotcha.
And that's what I'm really good at.
Think big picture and act micro steps.
And yes, and as everyone would say, write it down. First of all, it makes sense to write it down, because it's impossible to keep everything in your head. So what I used to do, I just write down every single task, just write it down. And it's like my yay list would go down to the hundreds of things I have to do. And then I stop looking at it. But then I wrote it down, so it's kind of ingrained in my brain.
True, very true.
So as a record producer, I was doing for 10 years. I worked with hundreds of different artists, right? Songwriters and everybody else. And my job to get the artists is to sing emotionally at certain pieces to make the music move. And I learned how to speak at a communicate a way to get them to sing those things. And I think that's where my practice started. Very uncomfortable doing it. Remember, you're trying to exude all this energy to get them to sing a line, to get to that place, and then you're drilling it for hours to get there. And usually it's because if they don't get there, either they're not a good singer, or it's me, that can't communicate it. But when you have hundreds of thousands of hours of practice, you get good at it.
Like that's the 10,000 hour rule, right?
That's
whatever,
right.
whatever that is.
Yes, yeah. It takes about 10,000 hours to get your muscle memory going. So I felt like I have all of that with practice. So it's like Naruto, man. I'm not sure people watch anime, but you're not, you're born a certain way. Like there's the anime Sasuke that just born talented, with special features. And I don't think I was born with those special. I kind of learned that when I was a kid. That's how I kind of look at it. And practice a hell lot to make it work.
Well, there's a saying, right? You don't have to be great to get started, but you gotta get started before you can get great.
Yes, right.
This topic about branding, and you and I have talked quite extensively.
Oh yeah,
especially recently, and this is also part of the reason why we are even doing this show, right?
Okay.
So speak to us about what branding means to you and how companies should look at branding, and more importantly, what should company do today to make sure that they can communicate the brand more effectively?
Positive branding, because there's negative branding.
Sure.
Positive branding is about building trust. Period.
So how do you build trust?
You build trust. Part of it, I look at it as top number one is storytelling. Most companies think like, let me brand my company, and they put a logo and a slogan, and they think it's like, okay, it's very branded. They put colors together, and then they post links on social media. That's literally just like waking up in the morning. Doing that type of work is not branding at all. So branding means like, okay, you're about to court a girl or a guy, wherever it is, right? What is it that you're going to do to get them to trust you, to like you, to love you eventually? Well, you got to do a lot of stuff. Okay, you're going to show up on time. You're going to say what you're going to do. You're going to
get her favorite flowers.
You got to get her favorite flowers if she even likes flowers. You're going to listen to her. She wants to you're going to show her how much you really like her, and they're going to put you to a test. Actually, do you really mean what you mean? You say what you said it, but let me show it to me. That's branding. You built an emotion with her. You brought her in to trust you, that she could count on you, lean on you, saying that I trust that you are gonna do what you I trust that what you said, who you are. You're authentic. Oh. So how long does that take you there? You could court a girl for a year.
But it's different with every audience, right? I mean, different with different people. The way.
Yes. Imagine trying to court a girl, and then she says, "Well, I'm gonna post on my links, and then you could check me out on my website, and then you could trust me that way." So imagine a girl. Oh my God, I love you so much because you posted these links on social media. It makes no sense. So why would you treat your customers that way? And trying to build your brand up.
Okay.
Right? So all these things comes into branding, and then eventually it becomes into this. If you could build an emotion out of what you do, what you say, then you develop a great brand out of yourself. That's what Nike does. That's what Apple did. That's what any great brands do. Is that, okay, I know that Nike is not just do it. It means that they value the people that they don't just value winners, they value people that do it. Whether they win or lose, they do it.
Right.
That's what they value. That's what they stand for. Right? They honor athletes, great athletes that try to do their best.
Well, Khoa, I know at the beginning of the year, one of your companies, K-Vibe Studios, came up with a new marketing package. Basically, it's a way for small businesses to gain access to high quality marketing / media production. So can you speak to that and see how you benefit the small business?
So, K-Vibe Studios, first of all, K-Vibe Studios is a full stack brand and marketing agency plus production services. So we're very extremely unique because most agencies don't have production capabilities. They usually source that out to another party,
Other country, perhaps.
or wherever it is, and then the cost goes through the roof for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So we do both at the same time, and we leverage because we started as a production company and we expanded into an agency world, which makes it very, very different. It's about trying to help people. And so we develop a new model. It's a retainer service model. I also have set packages as well, but the retainer service model was designed to help people, small businesses, to get into the marketing and branding game, from marketing strategies, marketing campaigns, having access to an 8,000 square foot studio if you're local to the tri-state or you want to fly in from wherever you are, and then be able to produce content and execute on maybe a website or flyers or ads or wherever it is that most business owners are not marketing people. So because we're pretty good at what we do, why don't we offer that to small businesses in one flat fee rate? So the idea was like like most agencies would in production companies, they would do line items. Like a director would cost this, producer would cost this, you need an account manager would cost this. They're all broken up and they all have different rates for it. What we did was that we took everybody, so you get, say, someone like myself or a producer or wherever it is, and you get it at one flat rate at $100 an hour. But the promise is that you have to commit to 5 to 10 hours a month for 3 months in the beginning, just so there's commitment on your end that you wanted to grow your business.
And it takes time for you to understand that
100%.
business and what it's there, what is the goal and vision.
Yeah. If someone was to, I'll be lying to anybody saying that I'm going to learn your brand in 5 hours. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it takes time to get to know it. There needs to be more conversations. There needs to be Zoom calls or meet in person and strategies to make sense. And then it's your company. It's you're developing a brand. You need to have your own vision into it as well. And we got to understand what that is. I can be the entrepreneur for your company, even though sometimes that happens sometimes, you know. I love your vision of my company. It's like, it's your company. Why am I giving you the vision for it? You know, you should have the vision in the first place. So let's bring that story out. So what we do for our packages and everything else is that we're designing our stuff to help business out over. It's a low margin game for us, but it's a high volume game. And I would think that if we did it properly and we help people grow businesses, then obviously, you know, we'd grow the business together, because you're going to need our services to continue to keep scaling your company. And so it's kind of that type of mindset that I have in order to help businesses out and utilize our services that isn't really being offered at all around the world, really, because everything seems to be a cash grab. You can't trust these brands. You can't. And most of these companies don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So why? And they don't know what's before chicken before the egg or the egg before the chicken. And they kind of throwing things at the wall, and they're learning how to market. And they're wasting a lot of money doing that. And if they spent the money, just say working with us, and we could build a vision, a storyline with them, then they're gonna save tons of money and then have a great campaign along the way and learn and having an extended marketing team on their side so they could grow their business.
Great. So like literally the business owners can have access to some
Pretty
of the
much.
highest quality production you can get in the
That's right.
marketplace at the most affordable.
Think about this, like I'm not renting out the 8,000 square foot studio I have. If you're on a retainer service with us, you're getting it.
That's
so
amazing.
You're getting a green screen. You're getting 4.6K cameras. You're getting audio. You're getting everything. All the equipment that usually you have to rent out to do it, either from production companies going to rent it to you and then package it up. No, you're getting out of that. The only thing you're paying is our human resources.
Brain power.
And obviously our capabilities.
Well, for those who's sticking with us to the end, Khoa is gonna have a wonderful special for the audience, so stick around, okay? Well, we're gonna switch gear a little bit. again, talk about an exciting project that you started, I think about a year ago, might have taken longer, is the NFT project.
Oh, yeah.
An NFT marketplace called Sutudu. I can remember you talking about ever since we met.
Oh yeah, it's Sutudu is first of all, Sutudu is like my baby. It's I feel like it's my life's work. Okay, and that means a lot to me. It stands for freedom in Vietnamese, except that it would be with an O. Sutudu would be that's the real word in Vietnamese, but I made it Sutudu just to make it look cooler. It's a I would say it's not just an NFT. It is an NFT platform right now. But Sutudu is about creating sustainable opportunities for the creative artists, for the creative world, for filmmakers, musicians, whoever that is, entrepreneurs that wants a platform to sustain themselves in the creative markets. So we thought that, well, how do we do that? Well, we thought that going into the crypto and the NFT community was a great start because it's innovative and it has the capabilities to transform what I see how the creative market move in the next 5 to 10 years. And so along the way, we're building out communities. So Sutudu is not OpenSea. It leverages OpenSea as well.
Yes.
Which is anyone that's in that market will understand that. But you're able to do sales splits. Like I give you an example. Like just imagine this drink is an NFT, right? You can actually put checking accounts inside of every single into this thing, right? Into the like right now, the way I would buy this is that I give you cash or a credit card, and it's 1-to-1. But imagine I could make this an NFT, and I could put multiple checking accounts onto this. So when you buy it, the sales of it could split to all these wallets, like a partnership.
Okay.
And then let's imagine that.
So for example, like let's say I hired some artists, right, to design this label.
That's right.
And then instead of us, let's say, pay this artist $1,000, I say, you know what, I'll pay you a portion.
I pay you a portion, or I give you equity off of it. So every time you make a sale,
got it.
The administrative is like you don't have to just front all the cash flow on it because you might not have it, but you're gonna base it on performance, and the artist agrees to do that. They'd be like, okay, I'll do that, and then they don't have to trust you that you're gonna pay them, because that happens a lot because you might not pay them.
That's a big deal.
That's a big thing. So when you make the sell, now it's just automatically splitting the wallets, splitting the money to everybody that's a partner in it. Now here's the other thing. Now that it's sold, that person that owns this drink now could resell it in the market again for a higher price if there's a value out of it, because maybe it's out of stock and then now it's in demand. And
it's
now
the last can of mango flavor.
That's right. And then you can put a royalty on it. So all the partners will get, say, a 10% royalty, and it will split again. So every time it gets resold, artists and everybody else will continue to get paid. That's what we had designed in our marketplace. And that's game-changing in the film world, game-changing in the music world, and anything that's royalty-based and anything that needs to have a sales split. To me, it's mind-boggling for people that don't understand the business of things. But those that do understand business, it's game-changing because you're creating a frictionless and a trustless partnership system.
That's amazing. And for those who are not familiar with the NFT world, I suggest that you check out a description in our link. We have a link to Khoa's one of his early podcasts about what is an NFT and how it works. So check that out. I personally looked at it. That makes me a little bit more smart when it comes to this NFT topic.
Yep.
But that's a great example that you just gave, by the way, on how NFT is applicable.
It's a clay technology. So NFT is a clay technology. So that's not a use case. That's the way. So we designed Sutudu to do that type of work, but you could do 1,000 different things with it, and that's something that could be like, hey, you want to reach out to me? I'll talk to you an hour and give you what it could do. So if you're like a retail business, if you're an artist, or you're doing e-commerce, you could do a lot of different things with NFTs, and there's also a big branding play out of it too. There's a lot of things.
Okay. Well, on to the next one. This is I think this is a very exciting time for you because your latest movie, Bezos, The Beginning, just came out, and obviously it's about the founder of Amazon. But before you talk about the movie, one thing I do notice is that of all the a lot of the feature films that you have done, they are all kind of about real people.
That's right.
So
biopics.
What fascinates you about telling their stories?
You know what? These projects fell in my lap. It's not like I looked for it.
Uh-huh.
I was asked to do it, and I did it.
So you were not like looking for
Zero.
movies you can direct where it's about people.
Nope. Nope. It just kind of falls on my lap, and it's weird, right? It's like I'm
it's,
telling
is
a
it
story.
coincidence or what?
I think it's a coincidence.
Or-
It could be, or it could be a universe
Uh-huh.
that's saying you're about telling stories of high-profile people and trying to inspire people. It's part of my makeup. I don't know. It's weird. It is a weird phenomenon, and it's. I told 3 stories of American stories. Walt Before Mickey, which is Walt Disney. I did a documentary on Vanilla Ice, very American story about creating change the hip hop game.
Yes.
American story, and now Bezos, another American story that changed the world.
And Jose Feliciano.
Which was a immigration story about in the Hispanic world of how he changed music. It's weird.
Huh. Interesting. So it's being broadcasted in like 18 different countries, right? So talk to us about the making of the movie and some of the interesting things that happened.
So first of all, I was brought onto Bezos coincidentally because I was talking to one of the producers named Armando Gutierrez, who was also the lead actor of the movie. And he had told me, he had asked me, hey, you interested in doing something with one of the highest profile people? I said, yeah. Who? Bezos.
Only the richest man in the
world
I'm
at
that time.
I said, what's the budget? And so it's going to be independent budget, man. I said, oh, shoot. All right. I read the script, and it was kind of like tight in the box. It's going to be half of the movie is going to be in the garage. And it's about how they created in the garage. And I was like, that's interesting. I thought that was very interesting. I was like, okay, this could do with this budget then. Great. And so I said, okay, how many days I got to shoot this? I got 17 days to shoot this movie.
17 days.
17 days. I was like, oh, God, I'm going to do another Walt Before Mickey type of thing. And they says, well, Khoa, I think you're one of the guys that could do it. At least do it well. I said, I know I could probably do it well. But you're gonna be putting me in this position, a stressful position to tell the story. And I go, oh, all right.
Khoa, I know with this launch of Bezos, The Beginning is going all over the universe right now, right? It's being played in 18 different countries.
Yep. Growing, more countries I'm sure buying. Yeah.
Right. So tell me about the process of making a movie and some of the challenges you met that you had and I'm also interested to know from your perspective as a director, is there any parallel between being a movie director versus running your own business?
Yeah. So the challenge is that you have no time to think as a director.
Okay.
How do you keep it in an unstressful environment so the crew doesn't want to walk off the set? And so part of it is like setting the tone and keeping it fun because nobody signed up for a job. Everyone signed up to make a movie. That's the difference. So I have to ensure that we're here to have fun. We're creating something that everyone wants to see and people want to learn. And that's the inspiration of how you're going to get a movie made. Because the minute you make it toxic, you made it feel like it's a job and nobody wants to make it work for you. And they're going to poison the water. They're going to poison me. So that's the challenge.
Or walk away.
Yeah. So luckily, based on my values and how I think about it, I set the tone very early. And I tell them, this is how it works, how I work. I want to keep it light. Nobody's disrespecting one another. And everyone's here to help one another. It's not a union crew. So make sure you're not screaming at each other. Throat. And someone needs help, you help them. No matter what it takes. It's like nobody's left behind. Let's make a movie. That's how I did as a director. But along with its challenges, it's like based on that mindset, you got to wheel people back in. When they start falling off the cliff, you bring them back up, and then you make it work. And so I am a psychiatrist on the set.
Counselor.
I'm a therapist. I'm a therapist. I'm everything, and I'm also a teacher because they sign up to work hard so they can learn from me, even though I didn't sign up to be an educator. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, but those are the things that's necessary in order to run a successful set from a low budget perspective. But the cool thing is that even though the producers put the budget there, they gave me a lot of leniency to be creative. So they said, Khoa, I trust your vision. Just make it happen. And I just trust it. And let's see what comes together. That's the risk I'm going to take on you.
Wow.
And I appreciate that because that's why I signed up for, to be creative. Sure. I don't like red tapes and tell me I have to approve everything. Everything I do, it gets questioned. Nobody likes that. Who likes that? So why hire me if you're going to do that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be your pet. So that's the idea of it. And luckily it worked out. And I guess another challenge is post-production. Look, I'm not happy with the coloring of the movie. Straight out saying that. I fought tooth and nail with the colorist that we worked with. Nice guy, fine. I actually like him as a person, but I just felt like we weren't seeing eye to eye around coloring, and that did affect the cinematography of the film. Unfortunately for the DP, which is the cinematographer, there's color mismatches, and the producers kind of let it go, and me being a creative director, I was disappointed in that part of it. But that's nothing I could do.
Yeah, you know, I did watch the trailer, right? And to me, it's the overall feeling of it seems a little bit gray. I don't know if you got
Yeah, it's gray, dark. Impression. I mean, there's a lot of process around it. But then the movie itself is not gray.
Yeah.
But then it could look more. My deal was like using like a Moneyball as a look to the film. But, you know, look, great budgets could fix anything.
Yeah.
You got one shot at this, and you pick your poison, you run with it. Branding wise, I built myself as a guy that could make anything work, no matter what. You want to make this water look cinematic, and where it is, I could do it. You want to make a scene work, saying, hey, I only got 10 extras for a scene that needs 80 extras, I could still make it work. And so I built a personal brand of making it work. Doesn't mean I like doing it, but I could do it.
Yeah.
And it's a great practice for me. So with that's hope that answered any questions around Bezos.
Good. And just by the answer that you gave, I could see a lot of parallels when it comes to being a movie director and an entrepreneur.
That's right. Solving problem. I would say I'm more of a problem solver on set. So I was talking to Gloria Estefan I was during the premiere before, and she asked me what is it that you do with directing. I go, what's the big? I said, well, the biggest challenge for me is becoming an artist as a director. So what do you mean? She laughed. I go, it's because it's hard for me to be thinking about shots when I'm always on the go, and just execute coverage and everything else. It's hard for me to think creatively.
Wow, you know what? This hour is flying by just like that, and I'm just happy for you to be here. I think you just brought a ton of value to our audience here, and you and I actually were discussing yesterday and see what other value we can continue to bring to our listeners.
Absolutely.
And I thank you for your generosity, and for those who are interested to get Khoa's perspective on how your marketing and branding strategy is working for your business. Khoa is actually willing to give away five sessions, half an hour session.
Yep.
Half an hour session to the first 5 people that DM us on our channel, on the YouTube channel.
And I'm going to help dissect your brand a little bit and help you tell a story and give you ideas from a story free. And from there, hopefully, either we could help you or that will get you going into be able to help yourself.
That's amazing. And we know how busy you are, Khoa. You got multiple enterprises running.
I'm busy.
Working on movies.
I am busy, but I'm never busy to help people. Okay.
And that's the part I love about you, man. Thank you so much.
Of course, thanks for having me, man. This is great. I hope you do 1,000 podcasts, and hopefully you continue to keep bringing value to the audience.
Wow, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one single step. So this is it.
That's
This is
exactly
the single
right.
step. So, well, wrapping up. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you for watching Business Talk with Eric Chow. If you like what you see, click subscribe and the notification button to check out all of our upcoming content. Our team at World Consulting Inc. is working hard to bring you the most relevant and interesting resources that can help your business go further, faster. Thank you for stopping by, and we will see you in the next episode.